Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Matwichuk, and the purpose of today's intermittent reinforcement email message is to discuss with you a few of the elements of a healthy philosophy of life. In my view, REBT is more than cognitive behavioral therapy. It is actually a philosophy of life, and I use these 20 elements to help me understand the strengths and weaknesses of an individual, and then aim to help them cultivate an element or two of these if they are weak in these areas. Now, these elements were largely laid down by Ellis, but I added 2 or 3 or 4 of my own. So let me run down the list for you, and you can then take a deep dive into today's intermittent reinforcement email message and see how I discuss each one of these. So in my view, a healthy philosophy of life includes the following elements: self-interest, social interest, self-direction, independent thought, and personal responsibility, high frustration tolerance and high discomfort tolerance, flexibility, acceptance of uncertainty, commitment to vitally absorbing pursuits, scientific thinking, unconditional self-acceptance, unconditional other acceptance, unconditional life acceptance, calculated risk-taking, long-range hedonism, non-utopianism and non-perfectionism, self-responsibility for your emotional disturbance, healthy sense of humor, semantic precision, efficient use of time, maintenance of your physical health, and acceptance of death and the process of dying. So, what I do when I meet someone is use this list as I listen to them and get to know them and see where they may be a bit deficient in one or more of these elements. And then I encourage them to cultivate these elements and to use the other ideas of rational emotive behavior therapy when they have resistance to implementing these elements. So, although I stick to the core theory, which is that our rigid attitudes lie at the core of our disturbance, and that extreme derivative attitudes follow from those rigid attitudes, I also think of these ideas as I listen and work with someone and use them diagnostically. So I would encourage you to read today's intermittent reinforcement email list and go down this list of elements and see whether or not it might be in your best interest to add that element to your philosophy of life and work on strengthening it. I would also like to remind you that every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on Zoom, I hold a discussion with a volunteer. About 100 people or more from around the world attend, and I show them how to apply the core concepts of REBT and these elements of a healthy philosophy of life to their particular problems. And over the course of almost 100 weeks now, I have had some very interesting discussions. This Zoom encounter is free for anyone to attend, but you need an invitation, so you can write to me at rebtdoctor@gmail.com for your free invitation, and it's held at 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. in the UK, 4 p.m. in Moscow, 6:30 in India, 10 p.m. in Japan, and for those people coming in late night in Australia, that would be midnight Sunday morning. I hope to see you on Saturday.